It's time for SAMBAI Speaks, and we're so excited today to talk about breast cancer in the UK. And, we're doing our SAMBAI research project, and the UK is one of our main countries that we're studying for breast, prostate, and pancreatic. And so I wanted to invite our friends from the UK. We've been featuring different advocacy partners. And so today we're so excited to have our new friend, Leanne, and to talk about Black Women Rising and the work that's being done for breast cancer in the UK. So could you introduce yourself, please, my new friend, and
Yes.
tell us about, what's going on and, kind of the state of breast cancer in the UK. In the States, we have a 40% higher mortality rate than white women.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and yeah, so go for it.
Yes, so my name is Leanne. I am 41 years old and I live in London in the UK. I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer when I was 35, so just over 5 years ago now. It was during the
So 5 years
pandemic.
is great. That's a
Yeah,
great
just
milestone.
hit the
Yeah.
marker. And it was a really, really terrible, terrible time. It was during the pandemic. I'm a mother. My daughter was just about to turn 3 at the time. And I was young. I'm a young Black woman. I'm of mixed
Yeah.
race heritage. And I just didn't know that I could get breast cancer. I didn't
Sure.
realize that it could happen to me. It was really, really lonely. It was, I couldn't have anybody with me during my appointments. I didn't know anyone who had breast cancer. I didn't know any Black women who'd had breast cancer, any young women who'd had breast cancer. And I was really, really scared. So it was a really difficult time. And we know what cancer treatment can do to the body. I lost every single hair on my body. I was weak. I had to have blood transfusions. I had to have surgery, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and I felt like I wouldn't make it out the other side. Towards the end of my journey through treatment, I was told about an organisation called Black Women Rising, and I'd not heard of them before. And although they are becoming more and more well known, at that point I wasn't given any information about them and the work that they do to support Black women through their cancer journeys. So I found out about them at the end of my treatment, and they were an absolute lifesaver. The work that they have done to support women and their families going through a cancer diagnosis is just second to none. I now work for the charity as their advocacy lead. I do talks like this. I go into organizations and speak to them. I speak to medical staff, and my whole job is all about spreading the work of that we do at Black Women Rising and making sure that everybody understands how we support cancer patients and how they can support us in that work that we do.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. It's kind of similar to
Yeah.
what we do, but we're finding that so I'm a triple negative survivor. Did you know? Yes. So and I'll be 15 years in September.
Wow.
So I am really, really blessed. And actually I had stage 3A and I did all the things, but my it came back after a year and my doctor gave me 2 years to live. So God had another plan for me, and I'm here and I'm healthy and I'm blessed. So, but we all have to do this work. We sort of go through this hell. We go
Mm.
through hell for a couple of years and try to figure all this out, but it never really goes away. So, and then I think that, I can't describe what blessed love is. I call it blessed love, but
Mhm.
to talk to and have another survivor or not someone with lived experience to go through this with is just a blessing. It's
Yeah.
just a blessing. And you can't really explain, as you said, you felt horrible until you found this community to help you deal because you don't have to talk. They understand it, they get it, and they just, okay, what do you need? Right? Reach out. So,
That's it.
right.
That's it. It's a
Yeah.
sisterhood. It's a sisterhood. I've met and loved so many women through Black Women Rising, who have healed me at different stages of that journey, and it's just been incredible.
It's incredible. It's the best. That's great. So, triple negative in the States, and I know you guys look at the numbers differently, but Black women are 3 times more likely to get it,
Hmm.
so it's a really prevalent disease. And I believe when we look at break this down, the subtype, the mortality rate for triple negative is 17% higher for Black women than white women.
Yeah.
Whereas ER positive breast cancer, we call that the good one. It's really not because the
Yeah.
mortality is even
Yeah.
higher. They're
Yeah.
all bad. They're all
Same.
bad. But if you're a Black woman, under 40 and you get breast cancer,
Yeah.
you have, basically a 50% chance of getting triple negative breast cancer here. So it's become this young disease, you know.
Yeah.
I was older when I got it, but you're at this time of your life. Your daughter was 3.
Yeah, yeah, she's 8 now. She's incredible. But
That's great.
yeah, it was a really, and it was just before Christmas. I remember
Oh
getting
my gosh.
my diagnosis, coming home and taking her to see Christmas lights, and just wondering if that was going to be the last time I was able to do that.
Wow. 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 So what's the mammography, the screening age in the UK for women? Like what's the screening age?
It's 50, I believe. I
Wow.
know that I'm still not eligible for regular
Get a
breast screening
mammogram.
if I hadn't had breast cancer, and I'm 41 now. But because of my diagnosis, I do get regular mammograms and MRIs every year. So yeah, it is quite high, and there are lots of things in place for us to do our own checking. And if we do find something suspicious and we're under the screening age, then we can go to our doctors, we can go to our general practitioners and have them look at us. And the pathway is, if they believe that
Right.
there's reason, then they will send us on a 2 week referral. So we've got 2 weeks before we then have to be seen by the next consultant. And what happened to me was I saw my GP. The GP believed me, although she said many times I was too young. It
Wow.
wasn't probably wasn't breast cancer. I was too young. I found a lump.
So
Um,
you found the lump yourself,
yeah, yeah, and
which
I
is
was
what 80% of women do, right?
yeah, and it's similar here. More and more women find their lump than under the sort of mammograms. And she sent me on the 2 week referral pathway. I was then seen almost exactly 2 weeks later at what we call it a one-stop shop here. So you
Okay.
go in, you're examined by a consultant. The consultant then
And the
will,
consultant's a doctor.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay, okay,
consultant the doctor. They
okay,
will mark up if they think there's anything suspicious. They will mark up where you have found and anywhere else that they feel
okay,
needs looking at. They then send you for an ultrasound, and any other testing. So during that point, I had an ultrasound. They
okay.
then immediately sent me for a mammogram to look at both breasts. They then did a biopsy. I then had another mammogram
And
on
this
the
is all in the
same day.
same day, all in
This
the
is
same
all
visit.
within hours. Um,
Wow.
so what I expected to happen was I'd go in, I'd see the doctor. The doctor would say, it's fine, it's nothing serious. We'll give you an ultrasound at most. I came out 2 hours later, having had two ultrasounds, two mammograms, and a biopsy, just shattered. Like, what has happened? Because there wasn't much information given about what was going on. It was clear that they were worried about the lump. And I remember
Right.
saying, oh, I remember her saying the right side looks clear. And I said the left. And she kind of looked at me and was like, oh, we're going to do some more checking there. Um, and then I went home and I waited. And the wait for me was a little bit longer than it should have been. It should have been sort of, 5 working days. And I ended up waiting almost 3 weeks for various reasons.
3 weeks. That's one of the worst things. That whole
Yeah.
waiting thing is like 3 weeks. I'm going to tell you about a story about that when you finish your story, but
Mm.
gosh,
Yeah, so 3 weeks,
3 weeks
me
of hell, of hell.
screaming and crying every day. Literally, I remember one time just sliding down the kitchen counters and crying my eyes out, trying to run a business, trying to parent, trying to be a wife, trying to live life, only telling a select few people because I didn't want people to worry. And
Right.
then eventually I was calling every single day, and eventually I got hold of a nurse and she said, right, I'm going to book you an appointment for Friday. And I said, do I need to bring anyone with me? And she said, that would be a good idea. And that was the moment when I knew that I had breast cancer. I didn't know the ins and
Right.
outs.
Yeah.
That was the moment because we were in a pandemic. We weren't allowed
Right.
to
Right.
take anybody with us. And if they're telling
Right.
us
Right.
it's
Right.
not
Right.
good.
You're in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Gosh. Gosh, 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 gosh. I think for my biopsy, I had it on a Friday and they called me on a Tuesday. And I was really busy. I was getting my daughter ready to go back to college. So that's how much older I was than you. I was in my 50s. And so, um, but still, it's like hell. And I kind of busied myself because we had so many things to do to get ready for school that that was sort of my way to stay not think about it. But you can't not think about it, right?
Yeah.
You can't not think about it.
You can't.
It's horrible. So we work on our SAMBAI project. We work with this amazing doctor in Ghana,
Oh,
and
amazing.
Dr. Beatrice Adai Wayafi,
Lovely.
and she has a hospital in Kumasi called the Peace and Love Hospital. And
Wow.
so they have so few resources in Ghana and so much triple negative breast cancer. She actually made some kind of deal, and she like will basically bring any kind of technology to her
Wow.
hospitals to make it work. And so she has this relationship with UCLA in Los Angeles. And so she will biopsy a patient, put the tissue into some machine. It goes to UCLA from Ghana to
Wow.
California, and she gets a diagnosis in 5 minutes.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And I
In
waited
five
three
minutes.
weeks. 3 weeks.
3 weeks, right? And we'll hear it in here in the States, it's like a week to 10 days or longer. It's same thing
Yeah.
here. But
Yeah.
the technology is there. Now
It
they sort of viewed her as kind of a like a pilot.
is. Hmm.
And she likes, I'll sign up for the pilot. I'll try the pilot to see how to make a biopsy faster. But can you imagine what that would have done for your life? Right. But so she's just an incredible badass to
Yeah.
like be able to like go to people and say, shake them up, like, I need something for my people. And that's
Yeah.
what she's done. And she's got all kinds of,
Amazing.
she's using AI and all kinds of technology to help in Ghana. So you would think that we could have that other places. I mean, UCLA can do it.
Yeah.
So, so I think there's got to be a way to make that process faster for everybody because that's just that waiting period. And then during COVID too, there are so many other things to think about, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was a long few weeks for sure. I just remember being mentally exhausted by the end of that. But once I got
Right,
the results, once I knew what was happening,
right.
make a plan. I could be
You
like,
make a
okay,
plan.
right, now we go into action. But that period where I didn't know what was happening was
Right,
very hard.
right. Did you even know what triple negative was before
Never
you
heard
had
of
it?
it. Absolutely never heard of it. I assumed that all breast cancers were hormone related. My grandmother on my mum's side had had a hormone age related breast cancer. Um, I assumed that it would be the same as that, but we don't have the BRCA gene in our family.
Right,
So
neither.
there was no genetic link in that respect. Um, yeah, no
Yeah,
idea.
no idea. I didn't know either. I didn't. And my mom had breast cancer and her aunt had breast cancer. And her aunt died when my mom was 12. Her aunt was 42. So she probably had triple negative.
Yeah,
Right back then because she was so young, but my mom had ER positive breast cancer. So I was
mm,
pretty diligent about getting mammograms, but I was over 40. And so in the US, the age moved from 50 to 40 a few years ago,
yeah.
but still, 40 isn't enough for Black women.
It's
It's
not.
too
It's the
old.
stats are there. The
The
stats are
stats are
there.
there. The stats are there. In the
Yeah.
US, Black women under the age of 35 get breast cancer at twice the rate of white women and die at 3 times the rate.
It's scary. And we do have sort of similar stats here. We know that women of color are less likely to attend their breast screening appointments than our British white women. We know
Right,
that women of color in the UK are twice as likely to delay and avoid seeking medical advice due to
right.
embarrassment. There are so many cultural
Cultural
stigmas
nuances,
and
yeah.
taboos that really put Black women at a disadvantage when it comes to getting diagnosed and seeking treatment.
I know. And you wonder why. And you wonder why you don't. I mean, like you said it yourself, you didn't want to tell too many people when you didn't know because you don't want to worry them and you didn't really know yet. Once you knew, did you tell everybody?
Yeah, straight away. Straight away.
Yeah,
The caveat was I didn't know how to tell my sister. So as well as it being just before Christmas, it was 2 days before my daughter's birthday as well. She was just about to turn 3. And I thought, oh, if I tell my sister, is that going to spoil the birthday celebrations for my daughter? And I love my sister with all my heart, but she can be emotional sometimes. And I just wanted to be like,
yeah.
let's just get this out of the way.
Right, right,
I did end up telling her pretty soon because she would have been hurt if I hadn't. And that's the
right,
other
right,
thing we have to manage, right? We have to
right,
manage other people's emotions. How is
right,
this person going to react? How is that person going to react? And I think when we come from families that are either deeply religious or for various reasons don't trust the health service, don't trust modern medicine, which can happen a lot in Black
right,
families.
right,
We have to
right.
really think about how am I going to tell this person who may not agree with my choices when it comes to treatment? I didn't have to deal with that, but that's something that we see a lot of our members having to deal with.
Right, right. Well, I remember telling people and they would start crying. I'm like, well, why are you crying? I'm the one with the cancer.
Yeah,
Like, like, shut up already,
yeah.
yeah, but
And the
it's really hard.
minimizing as well. I remember I clung on to some words that the consultant, the doctor said to me in the meeting. He said, fast growing, aggressive, but he also said small and treatable and aiming for
Right.
cure. So I got rid of fast growing and aggressive and stuck with small. It wasn't that small. I was stage 3, grade 3,
Yeah.
but small and treatable. We're going for cure were the things that I trotted out every single time I spoke to someone, leaving
Yeah.
the dangerous words to one side and just using those positive words with everybody because I just thought that's the best way to kind of
To manage it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I remember like going to Dr. Google saying, oh my God, that's what you said. You're going to die. You're going to die. Patrick, you're
yeah.
black. You're really going to die. Right.
That's a really
Um,
bad, guys.
I know people would say, but you really do have to manage it. And it's funny because I had very small breasts. I mean, even my little fake ones are bigger than the ones that tried to kill me. And my sister always had big boobs from like 12 years old, and we used to always like, I used to be always like envious of her big boobs, and she's younger than me, but to this day, I'm like, Sharon, cut them off.
Mm,
Like you're at risk now, And even my daughter is 40 now at 38. She had a mastectomy, a
yeah,
prophylactic,
yeah,
because she has 3 babies, three little girls. She didn't want to deal, and so that was her best thing. And I didn't realize how much it was stressing me out that I could possibly give my daughter's breast cancer until
yeah.
she got rid of her boobs. And then it was like, phew. I mean, like this weight came off of me because I felt like I was leaving her this horrible legacy. And my
Mm,
younger daughter just had her first baby, so she'll have another kid and she'll do it too. But it
yeah.
was, and they made their beautiful boobs, but you can't prevent it. You can only early detect it. And
And
so we are all at risk, and we have to talk to our families and help them deal, you know?
we have to break down those barriers. Again, like my daughter, she's still small, and she
Yeah.
says she doesn't remember me going through treatment, but every so often she'll pop up with, "Do you remember when you had no hair?" Or, "Do you remember when you used to sleep all the time?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, so you do remember pieces of it. You do remember." And
Yeah.
how I have those appropriate conversations with her about what was happening. But also, as she gets older, I think it's very important that I'm open and honest with her. And again,
Yeah.
like I say, we don't have the BRCA gene, but there's cancer in my family.
There's history. Yeah.
There's
And
history.
and really, we're finding land with our SAMBAI project that we don't know the genetics for Black people. All of
No,
that genetic testing
everything's done
was
based on white genes.
was in white genes and white people. And so one of the things that we've learned that Melissa Davis, our genetics, our genomicist that's leading SAMBAI, she's been working in Ghana for like 15 years,
Mm.
doing research and stuff. And so they actually identified a gene a few years ago called the Duffy null gene, which is attributing to triple negative in West Africa. So
Wow.
we could have that gene, me and you, but we don't haven't been there's no test for it for in
Yeah.
the US and the UK. So I think
Mm.
that's part of the work that we're doing to identify these genes, these possibilities that we could have a different thing. But frankly, our family history and Black families is just as important,
Yeah.
for what's going to happen next. So um, we're working with Dr. Sheba Ershad
Mm.
in in the UK. Do you know her of her?
I've heard, yeah.
She is amazing. So she's our soundbite person. She's at Guy Cancer Center, so I've been there in her
Yeah.
lab and
I was at Guy's, that's where I was treated.
oh, really? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just phenomenal, phenomenal. And her lab is amazing. And I'm gonna try to pull up these pictures. So keep talking. I have this
Yeah.
incredible picture of a Black triple negative cell versus a white one.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Oh,
gonna try to pull it up for you. I
yeah.
should have prepared before
Because
before we did
because
the
I think the
episode.
thing as well with that familial link is how we often hear that Black families don't talk about the history. So we know that our uncle passed away, but we don't know why. We know that an aunt was sick and then all of a sudden died. And it's only I'm finding, and we hear that anecdotally that our members are getting cancer and then they're starting to delve in. It's like, oh, actually, Auntie June didn't just die. She died of breast cancer too. And those
Yes.
conversations, on those unspoken conversations, are putting Black people at risk because we don't know our histories. And
It's
I did
yeah.
a genetic, an ancestry type test, and it came back that I was half Nigerian. 50% of my
Yeah.
genetics
Yeah.
Nigerian. So if we're talking about
Right.
understanding that those genes, those genetics are showing up during the African DNA testing, well then half of my DNA is Nigerian
It's
based on my
Nigerian. Yeah. And where it's so prevalent. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm actually 30% Nigerian. Um,
Wow.
I know. So I have like and the rest is all kind of white. I don't know.
Yeah,
Go on.
yeah. I'm
My
very
you're
split
yeah,
down the
you're
middle.
split down the middle.
50%
Yeah.
Nigerian,
Yeah.
50% European.
I know. I have two black parents, but my mom has a lot of, white in her family, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I can
But
imagine.
we're all like mutts of some sort. Do you know what I mean? And all of those factors play a role in our genetics, in our
Yeah,
our makeup, and our biology. But we are
and
seeing
we
this,
must learn. We must. We
we're
must be open. We must have difficult conversations.
we
We
we must.
can't wait until the worst happens. We need to be a big thing here is kind of breaking down that mistrust, that medical mistrust,
Yeah.
but also the social taboos of, deeply, like I mentioned before, deeply religious families, not trusting modern medicine, but knowing that the research, the evidence is going to save our lives, and not, there are many things that you can do alongside modern medicine, but we can't discount that it does save lives.
That science works, and we're trying to make better science. But even when people come to me and say, God's going to save me, we have that too. God's going to help me.
And
And God is, but God made
through modern
doctors.
medicine.
God gave science, made science happen. God
Yeah.
made all these things happen. But I tell people all the time, we say, know your her story. That's one of our campaigns. Know your her story. Talk to your grandmothers, talk to everybody. And it's really everybody in the family.
Yeah.
Put that conversation on the kitchen table. So we have a whole campaign just for young women who aren't sick.
Amazing.
Talk about that because you have to sit down and talk about it. We have a college internship program at the Black colleges, and they talk about is knowing your risk, knowing your her
Yeah.
story, and so I'm going to show you this picture that's going to blow you.
Please.
Um, it's insane, and it came from Dr. Shiba. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
so this is a black cell,
Mm,
CNBC. This is
yeah.
a white one. So
Wow.
what do you think the drugs were made for?
Absolutely. We know that they're made for the
This
whites.
guy over here, right?
Yeah.
So here's why we are not doing well with it.
Yeah.
And maybe this is why we're getting it younger. Maybe this is why we're getting it more aggressive,
Hmm.
whatever. And then we also have a study from Melissa that that um most women, most black women actually have quadruple negative breast cancer.
Wow.
That there's a fourth element, it's some kind of antigen, right? And I think the numbers are like 80% of black
Mm,
women. And it's actually also like 60% for white women, but no one's explored it yet because they don't know what to do about it. So it's a study that Melissa had done even like in 2018, I believe, about that.
yeah.
And so we really have quadruple negative breast cancer and no one talks about it because we don't have the science for it.
Yeah.
So there's so
Yeah.
much more science to get to understand why we're getting it younger,
Yeah.
why we're, and unless we sort of break it down. And so I focus a lot of my work on talking with the pharma companies to
Yes.
try to get more Black women into clinical trials. And
It's so important.
yeah,
It's so
yeah,
important. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And I think we have a problem here with not understanding what clinical trials are available to us.
yes,
So I know that within Black Women Rising, we do as much as we can to encourage our members who are going through active treatment to get on the clinical
a
trial,
trial.
to get on as many as they can to put their names down for them, because we cannot we won't make a difference if we're not in those trials. They won't,
Right,
if we're not in
right,
the trials, we'll never
right,
see the
right,
changes come our way. And I think
right.
one of the hard things sometimes when you're going through a cancer diagnosis and treatment is to think about the wider picture, the bigger picture. And absolutely, we need to be putting ourselves first. And there, I think there's also a fear around clinical trials. Well, these are trials. How do we know they're going to work? And we don't. But if they do work, then that valuable information is going to save millions of lives.
Millions of lives, millions of lives. It's going to save millions of lives, you know. But we have to get better science for us. We have to, you know, and it could be just a different dose of treatment.
Absolutely.
It could
Absolutely.
be, you know, and I don't know, did you do immunotherapy when you were sick? Were you
No,
do
they
did
didn't
you
offer that for
Keytruda?
me. I think that's it. Still, I've got a family member who's going through treatment at the moment, and they've just been offered immunotherapy alongside their treatment. But I was told that it's just off trial, so that's the reason they've been offered it. It's brand new for their cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have so in the US, we have about two new therapies about to get FDA approval here. And it's going to change the game. We have a drug from AstraZeneca called Datraway, and then we have a new guideline with immunotherapy for two drugs called Trodelvy and Keytruda,
Oh
but
yeah,
they
yeah,
put them together in one drug, in one infusion. And it's the numbers are great and it's going to
amazing.
change. But we've been encouraging women and trying to recruit women for those trials, you know,
Yeah.
specifically. And we'll keep doing it. We have another drug that's in, we have actually, there are probably about four other really good drugs in trial right now. And we're recruiting Black women for them
Brilliant.
because
Brilliant.
we have to see if it works for
We
us
have
and what
to.
works. And frankly, for TNBC, we don't have very many options. Like I took the Red Devil. I'm sure you took that, right?
Same, same.
I took carboplatin and really I
Yeah,
did a carboplatin, took it when it wasn't as a trial because
yeah,
it hadn't been approved for triple negative yet.
yeah,
So that's what saved my life because the other
yeah.
three guys didn't
No
save them.
doubt, mine too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we need drugs to have options for people. We need drugs to just, you know, give people a chance.
Yeah.
And you know, we have now we're about to do a retreat for 8 women who are metastatic
Oh, wonderful.
under 40. They're
Wow.
all young and they're all metastatic. Half of them have TNBC, but
Mm.
I mean, they're fighting for their lives and they're living for what am I going to take next when this one stops working?
Yeah. And we have the same. We're the same here. There are
Yeah.
drugs that are not avail that are available in other parts of the world that, NICE won't approve here. And HER2 is a drug that we are really
Yeah,
trying
and
to
her
get
too. Yeah,
approved.
and so
Yeah.
you don't have in her too in the UK.
No,
Wow.
I mean, and we have it. I think we have it in other parts of the UK, but we don't have it in England. It's not available in England.
Wow.
We know how incredible that drug is,
It's
and
a
there are
great
so
drug.
many
It's a
women
great drug. And then
available.
we have this thing called HER2 low. Have you heard of that? So basically it's just almost triple negative.
Yeah,
You know, there's like we have like a little bit of HER2. And
yeah.
that drug is a miracle drug. It's really helping so many women. So I don't know why people just don't have access to it. But
They
I
say
want
it's
to
too
sort of
expensive.
I know in that country, well, you guys have great health care. Like in the States, not everybody has what you
No,
have. And
yeah,
even when you talked about the 2 weeks to diagnosis, we don't have that.
yeah.
I
So
get you. And
I
so a lot of times women will get their diagnosis electronically on their my chart, which is called my chart. So they get an
Yeah, we
email.
have my chart. Yeah,
And at 4 in the morning, I'll say, yes, you have breast cancer, or yes, you are metastatic, or yes, you've had progression. So those are the calls we get at 6 in the morning because they're freaking out. And then they may not see a doctor for 3 weeks. So they've
that's
already gone through waiting
yeah,
3 weeks for a biopsy result, and then they don't see a doctor for a long time. And
yeah.
so
Devastating.
the good news for that is that we can kind of grab them and hug them and help them prepare for that first appointment. It's like, here's the questions you should ask. Here are all the options for you. Here are the clinical trial options you can consider and ask your doctor for. Because in the US, the main reason why women don't participate or Black women is doctors don't invite us.
Yeah,
So then and then we have that like fear, the trust fear and all that stuff. But we find that if we explain what a clinical trial is in words people can spell, from a voice of trust, a voice of a
yeah,
blessee, they're like, sign me up. I don't want to die,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
right? They'll try it, they'll do it because, but they don't understand when you say clinical trial, they have to think about fear and they're scared. But it's because they don't really understand it.
yeah.
They think, I think I'm going to get a sugar pill. Well, you're not going to get a sugar pill because there
That's
isn't
and
one.
that's it. I did
Right.
the trial that I took part in wasn't one for drugs. It was an MRI trial, which was
Okay.
about understanding if the MRIs could predict, the growth
Oh, okay.
and
Oh, that's great.
yeah, and the progress of the cancer. Which then meant that I got more MRIs than I would have if I wasn't on the trial,
Great.
knowing my
Bring it.
treatment.
Great.
Fantastic.
Right.
But there was still fear there, like, well, what does this trial mean for me right now? What does it mean for my treatment? And once it was explained to me, okay, it doesn't actually mean much for your treatment right now, but again, like I say, the impact for future
For
people.
other people. Yeah.
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 And just having people go through, this is what it means for you now. This is what it means for the future. This is how it impacts you. This is how it impacts the future.
The future. But still, I'm so glad that you did that trial
Yeah.
because we have to do more of them. Our tagline for that is we are the science we've been waiting for. And
Yes, I love
Black
that.
people, we have to do the science.
Yes.
In the States when you get a mammogram, now you
Yes.
can get an AI mammogram sometimes, but they make you pay another $40.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
people,
see,
and people,
everything's money.
I know. So people call me, well, should I pay the $40? I'm like, you know what? I don't know if it'll be better, but pay the
Mm,
$40 because at least we'll have the science and we'll
yeah.
start to build this database of information. So maybe in 2 or 3 years, we'll have a better way to do it,
Yeah.
So, but we all have to participate in this science. We really do. It's our responsibility and it shouldn't be. It should be the system, but it's not. So we all have to play about it. And
Yeah.
we like to say we put a hug around the science. Like
I like
we try
that.
to explain it to people, and help them figure out what's in it for me and how's it
Yeah.
going to help me and my family and whatever,
And I
right?
think sometimes that's what we have to do as well. If we want people to participate, we do have to kind of sometimes push it from a selfish point of view, as in, well,
Yeah.
here's what is
Yeah.
in it
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with a cancer diagnosis, like you're
Yeah.
scared, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So I'm so happy to talk to you today. And I can't wait to meet you the next time I come to London. I know Leah and I kept
Yes.
trying to find ways to like connect across the world. And I'm trying to get her to come to Martha's Vineyard. We do this big event
Oh,
in Martha's Vineyard. It's a little island in Massachusetts this summer, but
mm.
not sure when I'll be back over the pond. I'm actually going to a meeting in Switzerland, but kind of through
Well, it's a
Paris.
hop, skip, and a jump away.
I know. Figure that out. But
Once
we'll
you're
be
in
over.
Europe.
I know. But also, we're gonna go do a big breast cancer walk in October with Dr. Beatrice in
Lovely.
Kumasi, and I'm gonna try to figure out how we can get more people to go. But you guys should come to Ghana.
Oh, if we can, absolutely. So Leanne did go to Ghana a couple of years ago. We've made a wonderful documentary which is available to watch on the Black Women Rising website, and she goes and she explores cancer out there and breast cancer out there and the impact that it has and the work that they're doing. And so if you get the opportunity, definitely check that out. And again, anyone
What's
more
it
than welcome
called?
to check out as well. I actually do not remember. Do I have the name of it here?
It's not the same because we made a documentary. We helped Victoria Econoy. Do you know Victoria
Oh yeah,
Econoy?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we made it. She's got a great documentary that
Yeah,
she.
so this one wasn't with Victoria, but yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah.
yeah. So we're working with her on that one, and she really
Oh,
kind of went all over Africa.
yeah.
She's British. She grew up in Manchester, but she lives in Nice.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I didn't know that yet, but yeah, she's done some work with Black Women Rising as well,
yeah,
along
she's
with
great. Yeah, she's really
incredible,
awesome. She's really a
incredible.
beautiful talent. And she got breast cancer same like when, nursing her baby. So we have so many stories of women, young women nursing and
Yeah.
then finding out. Our friend Latoya, she was 36, nursing her third baby. And we get and in the States, it's really hard to get attention. You have to fight for yourself to say,
Yeah.
wait a minute, I need a mammogram. I need some screening.
That advocacy piece is just so important, that self-advocacy piece. Again,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
there are so many reasons why Black people have mistrust of medical professionals, and having to advocate for yourself when the history tells you you're not going to be believed, or the history tells you you're going to be
right.
mistreated. It's just really, really difficult, which is why it's important we have organizations like yours and like Black Women Rising. We
Yeah,
also have like a nurse support line which our members can use, which gives them the opportunity to speak to a nurse, a breast nurse once a week, or a cancer specialist nurse once a week, which then allows us to build that confidence when we are going into our appointments to advocate for ourselves. And
yeah.
learning to do that is just so, so important. So
And
important.
knowing how to ask the questions,
How to
Yeah.
ask questions,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
should
We
I
have
structure an appointment, what should
right.
I write down, because I'm not sure
Right.
about
Yeah.
you. But for here, we have 10 minutes for a GP appointment.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're not allowed to really ask more than one thing. So if you need more time, one of the things that I've learned is that if I need to talk to my GP about more than one thing, I'm going to ask for a double appointment when I call to book. Whole 20 minutes. And I'm
Wow.
going to
And
write
but at least
down.
you can do that, right? Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I think ours are 15.
Yeah,
15.
and I'll write down beforehand and I'll go in, I'll say, hey,
Yeah.
there are three things I need to discuss today. This
Right.
one is the most important. This
Right.
one less so, this one less so. And just hope that
You
you
can
get
get
someone
it.
who's not going to be like, nope, we've got 10 minutes and you've got one thing. So being able to
Wow.
advocate, learning how to navigate those appointments, again with my family member who's going through treatment at the moment, I'm trying to go with them to as many consultant appointments as I
Right.
can, because I remember sitting in my appointments, especially those early ones, just not having a clue what I needed to ask. And the day I got my diagnosis, I took my best friend with me and she asked the questions because she was my best friend. She knew me so well.
Right.
She
Right.
was there with questions. And another appointment, I took my mum and my mum asked the questions because I was just overwhelmed. I was like,
It's like want. You don't hear anything. You can't
yeah,
remember anything. But we tell people you have to take someone with you,
yeah.
and we do. I will like FaceTime with patients while they're in the office sometimes
Oh,
to help them
brilliant.
through. But we have a team of navigators, nurses,
Oh,
and social workers, and they're all Black women, and they're all survivors.
amazing.
So
That
they
really
can really help people prepare. But you can't do this alone. You cannot fight this fight alone. You need support. You
yeah.
need help, and you need people to help guide you and take the notes for you. We have, you have to demand the care that you deserve.
We
And
have to
and
demand
and
the care.
yeah, and you know what I tell doctors who rush? I say,
Mm,
you know what? I hope to God it's not cancer, but someday you're gonna take off that white coat, your doctor coat,
yeah.
and you're gonna have on this robe that I have on with my butt hanging out in
Mm,
this seat of fear. And I
mm,
hope to God someone spends the time with you that
yeah.
you need, that you should be spending with me. And because everybody's going to be there at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah. We are.
Everybody's going to be a patient. And maybe I hope that's not cancer for people, but everybody's going to be a patient. So
Yeah.
think about that and think about if it was your mom or your auntie or your grandma.
Yeah.
How would you treat them right? It's the golden rule. We call the golden rule in the US. Treat others as you want to be treated.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do as you
Right.
would be done by.
Right. Right. Do what you would be done by. I love the British words for that. That's so great.
We had a slight tangent. We had a book, it's called The Water Babies. I don't know if you've ever had it. And there was a
Yeah.
character in that book called Mrs. Do As You Would Be Done By. And that's how
I
I
love
always
that.
remember. And reading it as a child, I said, what is this? Do as you would be done by. And it's treat others how you want to be treated.
I want that book that's called The Water Babies.
The Water Babies,
I'm
yeah.
gonna look that up. I'm gonna get that for my granddaughter. I have four granddaughters and
Oh, I
and
love
one
it.
grandson on the way, but I'm gonna get that, The Water Babies. I'm gonna get that right now.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
writing it down.
animals. It's there. It's about animals, and yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
It's a
so cool.
lovely story. It's a lovely
That's
book.
great. That's so great. I'm gonna check that out right now. So you are so awesome. I'm so happy to meet you.
Likewise.
And I'm so happy to, have you part of our Sambai family. And I will definitely figure out how we can connect somehow
Yeah, I'd love
and
to.
give hugs we will definitely be back at Guy Cancer Center because it's a great place. We work with
It's wonderful.
it's wonderful. It's the hospital itself is just beautiful.
Yeah,
The lounge on the top. I've been there where
yeah, yeah,
it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And I know
yeah.
Dr. Sheba works really hard there to kind of do the work that we're doing. But you be blessed. It's a holiday weekend in the UK,
It
right?
is, and I've got
Yeah,
the
here
whole of
too.
next week off work,
Oh,
so
that's great. Enjoy
it's
your
going to
bit.
be a
What's your
busy
daughter's
one.
name? What's your daughter's name?
Tiana.
Tiana.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. So
Cool.
yeah, we spent some
All
time
right. Well,
together.
you
I'm
be
so
blessed. You
pleased
stay
to meet you.
healthy
Thank you.
and check out our Sambai website. It's sambai.strong.org.
Yes,
SAMBAI strong.org. And you can kind of keep up with the work that we're doing. All right.
absolutely. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thanks for
Take
listening.
care.
Take
Bye.
care. Blessings. Bless you, love.
Thank you.